back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
Hello there. You all right? Real quick, okay? I'm gonna say this and I hope it falls on the right ear. Some folk don't like you, but they need you.
Wait, hold on. No, ma'am. No, you're not gonna come in here with that fire. No, ma'am. Who is that lady, Andy? Tabitha Brown. Where the keys? Somebody, where the praise break? Lord. Wait a minute. I need a praise break, Andy. Come on, man. Tabitha Brown. Lord have mercy. Woo. Say it again. Play the clip again.
Hello there. You all right? Real quick, okay? I'm gonna say this and I hope it falls on the right ear. Some folk don't like you, but they need you. I said, you see, some folk, they don't like you, but they need you. You see, they stay close to you, not because they like you, but because they need you. Okay? They show up and appear as best they can as your friend, but they not. They just need you. Now they like what you can do for them. They like having access to you. They like what other people think of them because of you, but they don't like you. Now, here we go. When the Lord shows you this, when he gives you clarity and he opens your eyes up to it, what you do with that is on you. If you keep them folk around that don't like you, well, whatever happens, you are responsible for that because you've been shown that they don't like you. You must be careful. You must protect yourself, your peace, your space, your family from the folks who don't like you but need you. Okay? That's it. All right. I love you, honey. Now go about your business, honey. Move your body today and have a good day.
Hey, listen, that remind me of Nikki from the SIP. It's the same spirit coming off, child. Lord have mercy. See, sometimes people, listen now, sometimes people use your friendship with them as a passport into the world you live in. See, they couldn't get into that world unless they had your friendship. See, your friendship serves as a passport that allows them entrance into your world. Oh, Lord, listen, there's a lot of folk out there getting grace that didn't earn it. There's a lot of folk out there getting a pass that actually didn't attend class. Let me tell you something. You got to get away from folk that want to use you up. You understand me? They'll use you up, and while they're using you, they'll be like, oh, you my friend, you my best friend, I care about you. And soon as those resources have been sucked up by this vampiric spirit that you've given a friendship passport to, once those resources are gone, so are they. Oh, I've been busy. I'm sorry I ain't been able to call you in a minute. Things got a little rocky at work. My family got sick. Everything just fell apart. I had to focus. Yeah, listen, these people don't deserve grace. You cannot chase after a runner who has a handful of your resources. The runner, they ran off with everything you was able to give until you couldn't give no more. Now they running away from you, looking for the next source, the next supply. Come on, man. They like vampiric squirrels. The jaws are filled up with your resources, and they done ran off. Ran off the plug, man. This is crazy, man. 1-800-920-1580, the voice of reason, live from KBLA Talk 1580. This is where the realest conversation in the world about relationships happen, from Monday through Thursday, nothing but fire, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Quantum entanglement or a trauma loop. When grace becomes delusional enmeshment. Here's your psychological insight. Trauma bonds create emotional entanglement that mimics spiritual connection, but traps the psyche in repetition compulsion. Your philosophical insight. Kant warned us against mistaking phenomena for phenomena. We perceive trauma as destiny because we project past wounds into current relationships. Your spiritual metaphysical insight. In quantum physics, entanglement links particles across time-space, or space-time. In relationship, trauma entangles unresolved selves under the illusion of karmic love. Go get my book, The Holographic Relationship. I talk all about that in that book. Right? Your clinical and empirical insight. EMDR reveals that unresolved trauma creates nonlinear recall loops, causing us to relive patterns as if they were inevitable, mirroring entangled feedback cycles. Oh my goodness. The voice of reason wants you to understand what tonight's topic is. Right? We're talking about when to cut the grace faucet off. Is your wound extending grace because your wound does not want to face being alone? That's a real question. Are you extending grace, right, to keep a toxic person or toxic situation in place? Time doesn't heal. Conscious elevation does. The elevation of your consciousness. Why grace without awareness fractures the soul. Unprocessed trauma lives outside linear time. Grace without time-conscious healing keeps wounds festering beneath spiritual platitudes. Do you understand? Do you understand? Real healing only occurs when we fully confront our own endings, not avoid them via false forgiveness. Do you understand what's happening here? Why do you give people so many chances? I want to know. Do they deserve the chance? What does that look like? Some people say it's changed behavior. Are you entering another narcissistic wormhole? How grace opened portals to lower dimensions of the self. Repetitive exposure to devaluation reactivates the primal brain. Grace becomes a survival wormhole that bypasses the relational or the rational self. Come on, man. Huh? Are y'all ready for tonight? Some mystics argue that lower vibrational beings use emotional portals to feed off of others. Unprotected grace is a wormhole of psychic leakage. Your clinical and empirical insight. Borderline/narcissistic abuse correlates with adrenal fatigue, right? Derealization and time distortion, symptoms that mimic dimensional collapse and quantum theory. You say, Zoe, where'd Zoe get all of this? Relationships ain't this complex. Huh? The addiction to grace are trauma survivors high on forgiveness. The fawn response mimics grace, but is a trauma adaptation. Survivors conditioned to appease in childhood confuse compliance with compassion. Nietzsche warns that pity, when unchecked, degrades both the giver and the receiver. It infantilizes the abuser and annihilates the self. My guy, Dr. David R. Hawkins, in his consciousness calibration, true forgiveness is in alignment with love. And it requires integrity, not self-abandonment or false forgiveness. And if we're looking at false forgiveness through Dr. David R. Hawkins' lens, false forgiveness, listen, calibrates lower, feeding karmic loops. It calibrates at the same level of fear. Do you see? I want y'all to understand something about relationships. I keep pushing this, and I'm gonna do it until I die. Relationships are where you go to school, and the curriculum is you. You go there, right, to learn about yourself, to discover yourself, to come in contact with yourself. For what purpose? Individuation. None of these ideas are new. None of them. It's time for us to get going when it comes to using relationships for its original spiritual purpose, and that is awakening. One of my callers on the line, one of my favorites, my good friend, Sean, Oakland, California. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Brother Zoe, I mean, taking care of yourself is the number one thing, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't just mean you as an individual. When you take care of yourself, you're taking care of your family and friends around you. You know, they look to you for, they'll look at you. Most people don't understand the difference between nurture and nature. Nature, that's nature. Nurture is that you are setting an example and other people look at you and they'll follow you. And you have that. A lot of people have that, but a lot of times they don't know the power, right? And I could be kind of crude, and I gotta be, a little bit here. Look, there's a lot of things with men, especially.
Come on, talk to me, Sean.
A lot of things with men that are true, but maybe detrimental. Pussy is undefeated, and money is undefeated. And sometimes you need to step back and understand that family and friends and people, your community, is more, you should make that undefeated.
Thank you, Sean, for Wow, Sean, you forgot you was on radio, Sean? You know that you
No,
can.
you can say pussy.
No, you can't, Sean. You cannot.
You can't?
No, Sean.
Come on now. The president did. The president did.
Hey, the president is crazy. Well, come on. Come on, Sean.
Well, maybe I am too. There you go. I gave good advice. Pussy you can say.
Oh, God, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Oh, Sean. What is going? Oh, goodness. Well, I hear what he's trying to say, but my goodness, man. We All right, let me pull it back together. The topic tonight, the grace to doormat pipeline. If you don't want to be a doormat in a relationship, you need to understand why you perform for others. Did it originate in childhood? That's a question you might want to ask yourself. Did I have to perform for my parents in order to get their attention and or approval? Self-inquiry is huge when it comes to self-realization. Relationships are a vessel for you to actually discover the self so you can expand in this self-realized pursuit. Or let me do it this way. Let's ask this question. What if your so-called grace is actually a death wish disguised as virtue? You think you're doing right by people. You think you're doing the right thing, but in actuality, you might be hurting yourself because the grace is not coming from a space of discernment. It's probably coming from a space of need. If I, or maybe even codependency, if I don't give this person grace, they might leave me for good this time. Grace and fear don't go together, just like love and fear don't go together. How many times must your soul be mugged before you stop calling it unconditional love? Listen to what I'm saying. Mugged. How many times must your soul be mugged before you stop calling it unconditional love? I've been trying to explain to people for years. The Buddha said attachment leads to suffering. That's the term dukkha. Suffering, unpleasantness, unsatisfactory, pain, discomfort, disappointment, dissatisfaction. Dukkha covers all of those synonyms, right? Attachment creates this suffering. Why? I'm attached to something that I think can give me something that I never knew I already had. Right? So, if you have an insecure attachment style and you have all of these expectations and you want people to meet your needs, this is why I say sometimes psychologists and clinicians have to be careful of pushing the need narrative. My needs need to be met. You have to meet my needs. Because what happens is when you deal with people who fake individuation, there's some of those people out there too. If you can fake empathy, if you can fake care, and if you've been performing kindness and love in relationship, do you know narcissists literally are experts at fooling and duping clinicians. Oh yeah, you can fake individuation. Do you see? So we're calling unconditional love unconditional. No conditions. I am seeing you clearly because I'm not seeing you through the filter of what I've been through. Now, if I give you grace from that space, it is divine grace, authentic grace, true grace. It is not grace that has a silent contract embedded in it. It's not grace that says, I'm doing this because I want you to give it back to me at some point. When we come forward, I'm going to go even deeper.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
What about you? Yeah.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time. Whenever news breaks, while we're on the air, it's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580. And we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now, in this question, can I improve me? There is the obvious difficulty that if I am in need of improvement, the person who's going to do the improving is the one who needs to be improved. And there immediately we have a vicious circle. All right, you want grace? Well, ask God, maybe he'll give it to you. And the theologian will tell you, yes, God gives his grace freely. He gives it to all because he loves all. It's here like the air. All you have to do is receive it. Or a more orthodox, a Catholic Christian would say, all you have to do is to be baptized, to take the holy sacrament of the altar, the bread and wine, the body and blood of Christ, and there is the grace right there. And it's given by these simple physical means so that it's very easily and readily available. Well, a lot of people got baptized, and it doesn't always take. People fall from grace. Why do they? You see, we're just talking about the same old problem, but we've put it a step up. But it's the same problem. How can I improve myself? Was the first problem. The second problem is, how can I accept grace? They're both the same problem. Because you've got to make a move which will put yourself out of your own control into the control of a better. If you don't believe in the Christian kind of a God, you can believe in the Hindu kind of a God, who is your inner self. You see, you've got a lower self, which you can call your ego. That's that little scoundrelous fellow that's always out for me. But behind the ego, there is the Atman, the inner self, the inward light, as Quakers would call it, the real self, the spirit, which is substantially identical with God. So you've got to meditate in such a way that you identify with your higher self. Now, how do you do that? Well, you start by watching all your thoughts very carefully, watching your feelings, watching your emotions, so that you begin to build up a sense of separation between the watcher and what is watched, so that you are, as it were, no longer carried away by your own stream of consciousness. You remain the witness, impassively, impartially, suspending judgment and watching it all go on. That seems to be something like progress. At least you're taking an objective view of what is going on. You are beginning to be in a position to control it, but just wait a minute. Who is this self behind the self, the watching self? Can you watch that one? It's interesting if you do, because you find out, of course, that this is just as the problem of grace is nothing more than a transposition of the first problem. How am I to be unselfish? By my own power. It becomes, how am I to get grace by my own power? So in the same way, we find that the watching self, or the observing self, behind all our thoughts and feelings, is itself a thought. That is to say, when the police enter a house in which there are thieves, the thieves go up from the ground floor to the first floor. When the police arrive on the first floor, the thieves have gone up to the second, and so to the third, and finally...
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Measles cases in the U.S. are at a 30-year high with nearly 1,300 cases in 38 states.
That all it takes is one person coming back with measles traveling internationally to start an outbreak.
Dr. Marissa Levine warns it could get worse as vaccination rates drop, especially in black communities that are disproportionately affected due to lower vaccination access, even though the MMR vaccine is 97% effective. Tom Diddy Combs scored a legal win as he awaits sentencing on federal charges. A judge removed key allegations from a lawsuit by April Lampros, who accused Combs of raping her in the 1990s. And Los Angeles is on track for its lowest homicide total in 60 years. Black Mayor Karen Bass and Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonald made the announcement on Wednesday, crediting police response times and crime prevention efforts. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay!
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right, yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La la la.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
My wife once asked the meaning of joy. I've asked before other questions about the past, and you've told me to stop talking and, concentrate on now. So can you help me understand tolerance and intolerance? And is there even a place for tolerance in my own reality? Is it something I have to deal with? Is it something I can just let go?
It is one of the most ineffective, unproductive, not good for you emotions that you could ever foster and encourage. Because what it is a looking right at something unwanted, feeling the guidance of the being off track, and then the learning to accept it as a feeling that you are willing to endure. In other words, we get it that it's a good idea not to misbehave in public. They might drag you off an airplane. We understand that sometimes you just have to kind of suck it up and not say anything. But when you deliberately practice recognizing an emotion that doesn't feel good, which means every time my inner being is looking at this differently, but I'm choosing to stay focused upon it in opposition to my inner being, so the knot still remains in my stomach, but I don't do anything about it. And in fact, in an attitude of seeking tolerance, most humans would say tolerance is not liking it and just accepting it, while intolerance might mean not liking it and throwing a fit. Well, maybe it's better not to throw the fit, but it certainly isn't good for you to look at something unwanted and not do anything about adjusting your vibration. It's like the difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy is looking right at something uncomfortable and just holding myself in that discomfort, while compassion is being in alignment first, and then from my state of alignment with my inner being, then looking at whatever the subject is, but I don't feel the discomfort of it. Instead, I see it through the eyes of source. And because I hold my vibrational stance, now I'm bringing to the table, I'm bringing to the mix pure positive energy, which means I might influence the whole room upward under those conditions. With empathy, I just have to go down to meet it. Where with compassion, I stay with who I am. So I don't take a dip in my vibration, which means I might not help them, but I don't hurt me. And there's a stronger probability that they may come upward if we're able to play together longer with me feeling and behaving in my physical form like my inner being always behaves. Esther said to us early on, when she began understanding emotions and where we stood in relationship to her, and one day in the midst of strong negative emotion, she said to us, Abraham, I think you should come over here with me so that I don't feel so bad. Because she knew the reason she felt bad was because we had different vibrational frequencies, and she had moved so far from who she really is. So she tried to talk us in to coming there with her so that she wouldn't feel the separation so much.
Man, the clips are on fire. Alan Watts before that, and then Abraham Hicks. My goodness. She cooking though. She's cooking. The clips are cooking. The content is cooking. The show is cooking. We're asking serious questions here that are important. Many of us don't understand how to effectively and properly dispense grace. I love the distinction she made between empathy and compassion, right? Oftentimes we have an empathy gas tank. We get empathy fatigued. But as she so eloquently articulated, compassion is aligned with source. And anything that is aligned with source does not get fatigued. And I think people don't really understand that, because they don't understand that relationship in and of itself is this spiritual space. We see it as a social construct. Marriage is a social construct. Monogamy is only 200 years old here in America. We see it as an ideal, right? But in the spiritual space, that's how you heal psychological wounds. Is your loyalty to the person or to your own fantasy of whom they'll never become? Is this why you continue to extend grace? You're loyal to the potentiality of who they might become for you? Is your loyalty to the person or to your own fantasy of who they'll never become? What if the only reason you kept choosing them is because they confirm your deepest belief that you are unworthy of peace, of happiness? Have you spiritualized your trauma so deeply that abuse now feels like devotion? Is your emotional intelligence making you wise or just exquisitely self-abandoning? Why do you give them a chance? Why do you give them an opportunity? Why should you? Do you understand? Are your wounds, unhealed wounds, the co-creator of misery you despise, the misery you experienced in your relationship? Are your unhealed wounds a co-creator of that? And do they feel at home when they create the next toxic situation? What if everything you called spiritual love is actually just trauma, dressed up in cosmic, spiritual, metaphysical language? Do you really believe in forgiveness, or are you just terrified of the silence that follows accountability? How many times will you explain their behavior before you admit you're translating madness into meaning? Could your path to enlightenment be a rerun of every boundary you failed to hold? When we come forward, the voice of reason will continue cooking.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Yo, it's Zoe Williams, the VOR, and I know you're tired of pretty gems with pretty lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no fluff, just pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard, puff loud, be legendary. Where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
So imagine what your life would be like if you were not always trying to shape and control other people's perceptions of you. Because that's what a lot of anxiety turns into. This is how people become doormats. I can't afford to have this person dislike me. And since I can't afford to have this person dislike me, I can never set a boundary with them. Since I never set a boundary with them, I become a doormat and they start to become abusive. Because I don't check their behavior. There's never a consequence for their behavior. And then the anxious person gets stuck. They become frustrated with themselves. They become frustrated with the other person, but they don't know what to do about it. And so the real antidote to all this stuff at the end of the day is detachment. Is to separate yourself a little bit from the ego. And okay, so this person dislikes me. So what? Right? And this is what people may tell you. Why do you care about what this person thinks? And you're like, I don't know. I wish I couldn't, but I do. And then how do you solve that? How do you develop that attachment? You go back. Detachment. You go back. When did I learn that I cannot afford to piss anyone off? That's the samskar that is controlling you, that is preventing the detachment. Once again, there are practices that you can do, right? Meditative practices, spiritual practices, things like that can help you develop detachment. We have a whole path on that in Dr. K's Guide to Meditation. So, but for y'all to understand, this is also where there's studies that show that spiritual perspectives to anxiety can be incredibly helpful. One of the mechanisms...
Just fire all night long. Fire! The Voice of Reason, live from KBLA Talk 1580. You already know what it is. We're going to have the realest conversations, and it's going to be raw. It's going to be uncut. I'm sorry. I feel like relationships have become so performative and so full of psychological and spiritual and emotional pretense that we never really connect at the ground of our being. Yesterday's show was about being able to be with a human being and how difficult that is. Most people need their partner, and they'll say if you ask them a direct question, do they have to be perfect? No, they don't have to be perfect. But then when you look at how forgiveness works and conditional forgiveness, and how there's really no space for a human being who's always flawed, who's always going to make mistakes, who's always going to hurt your feelings, right? There's really no space. And then you say, well, wait a minute, there's no space, so why did you keep them? And then you have to ask the question, you have to ask that question, can your path to enlightenment be a rerun of every boundary you failed to hold? What if healing doesn't mean staying, but finally walking away without a sermon? Many people say, oh, I got too much to lose. I got too much invested. I got too much time, energy. Do you see? Right? Relationships are only a struggle because we struggle with ourselves. We struggle with the truth of who we are. It's one thing to not know the truth of who you are. It's another thing to have peeked into your soul and looked into yourself and said, whoa, I don't like this. And then run away from that. Because now you're abandoning the course. Do you see? The grace to doormat pipeline. A spiritual autopsy of weaponized virtue. I'm giving you grace. No, you're actually keeping me tethered to you, or in your attempt to keep me tethered to you, you offer grace. But the reality of it is, that's not who you really are. You're not the embodiment of grace. You're the performance of it. Right? So you can maintain what it is you're here for. There is a sacred violence in the way grace is misunderstood. In the name of virtue, many people turn themselves into altars upon which narcissists perform emotional exorcisms. But what if this isn't grace? What if it's a well-disguised death wish, an inherited addiction to annihilation dressed as devotion? The language of unconditional love has been hijacked. No longer a conscious offering of presence, but now a trauma script masquerading as enlightenment. In the unconscious psyche, shaped by attachment ruptures and covert narcissistic conditioning, love becomes synonymous with tolerance, and grace becomes the socially acceptable euphemism for voluntary crucifixion. Psychologically speaking, many people offer endless grace, or many people who offer endless grace are not elevated souls. They're spiritualized survivors reenacting an unconscious loyalty contract to their abusers. As Dr. David R. Hawkins, you know I love him, all of his books, Power versus Force, and so many other, The Eye of the Eye, right? Transcendence, Letting Go. He has so many powerful books, and I've read the majority of all of them many, many times. As he demonstrated in his map of consciousness, love, true love, not the love that's vibrating at fear, apathy, shame, guilt, anger. This is not love, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done any work, this is not love. This is attachment. This is insecure attachment, craving to be fed. Why? Because every insecure attachment style has concomitant insecure attachment wounds. Those wounds need to be fed. They have a ravenous appetite, bottomless pit, spiritual tapeworms. Or let's recontextualize that. Spiritual tapeworms. Do you understand? In Dr. David R. Hawkins' map of consciousness, love, true love, calibrates at 500, a level far above the vibrational chaos of codependent indulgence or egoic enabling. What calibrates lower is the martyrdom that poses as mercy. the unhealed inner child who calls self-erasure sacred union. But here's the schism no one dares to name. What if the compulsion to forgive is a nervous system disorder, not a spiritual virtue? What if grace, in the context of trauma bonds and covert emotional abuse, as documented by Misra and Arabi and Bahari and Taylor, become a psycho-spiritual camouflage for a primitive fawn response? When our boundaries are bypassed, when our gut is gaslit, and when our soul whispers run, but our shadow still believes love can fix them, we don't just lose ourselves, we abandon the very architecture of selfhood. This is not grace. This is grief weaponized against itself. Thomas Campbell in My Big Toe reveals that love reduces entropy. That is, it orders complexity into coherence. But the grace that keeps you in a trauma loop is not ordering, it's disorganizing. It produces a psychic schizophrenia between what you know and what you tolerate. It doesn't reduce entropy, it actually feeds it. What we often mistake for spiritual maturity in relationship dynamics is, clinically speaking, the somatic residue of attachment trauma. You don't stay because you love. They stay because your trauma won't let you leave. And narcissists, especially covert ones, are expertly calibrated to exploit precisely that fracture. Listen, I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and I'm going to continue to do this. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's topics. I hope it gave you something really deep to think about. Please, please, let's all find a new way to respect the university of you, i.e., intimate relationships. I'm the VOR. I'll see you next week with another slew of slappers.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Bronx Congressman Richie Torres is blasting New York City for failing to